want to go all the way out to Kingdom Building for the saplings. Do I have spruce on me? I do. Suppose I'm not going to be lucky and have the saplings now. I emptied my bags out for organization. Is there a book here? Or a backpack? It's just signs? I see. I need to set the date for the first meeting, but I also need to get the area set up for the first meeting. There is a member of Bloodwind.
Hello.
Greetings.
Greetings.
What's those? Interesting. Is there a reason why?
I don't know, I found him in here.
Oh.
First he was over here. He was just staring at the table, and I thought it would be quite a gag to just pick him up and put him somewhere else.
I see. Interesting.
What do you think? Is it a good spot?
It is. It does catch notice. I thought for a second I missed it when I first came in, but I assume you just placed it then?
Yes, that's when I was up there.
That makes more sense, because I don't know. I thought maybe I just got so distracted that I didn't notice it at first, and I was a little confused when I saw it from the corner of my eye.
Trust me, I walked in here, and it was right there by that chair. So I was like, wait a second, what is that? And then I had to get closer, and then it was god awful.
I don't even know what that's supposed to mimic.
His name is Pablo, I think. Hang on. Oh god, he's spazzing. There he is.
Oh.
Pablo vibe is what it says.
I see. At least the plushies are cute. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
I will
I
say
don't
the
know.
same about that.
Do you think someone put in, instead of a piece of hair, they put in, kind of looks like a crustacean, does it not? Like some deformed either worm or shrimp or...
Yeah, like a shell of some sort. I don't know.
Okay, well, whatever it is, it's going to find another home somewhere else. What class would you put it in?
I feel like equestrian's the class that happens most frequently. But I think I also saw on the board there is a knighthood class happening up next. I don't remember when, though.
Knighthood's right there as well, so it's easier. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hello. Hope you're doing well. Yes. Kingdom building. Off campus. Even if I offended him, I doubt of a station this would lead to anything. But there's also the concern that if I did offend him, he's luring me out somewhere, and even if he doesn't do anything himself, others might be. I don't know. I'm overthinking it. He has been to my knowledge, genuine. Perhaps it's been a lie, but he has seemed kind. And he's charming, handsome, and funny. I don't want to think the worst of him, but if he feels I disrespected him, I don't know what the consequences of that may be. That is fine with me. But yes, I would need to be shown the way. Where should I meet? We're going off campus, get that situated a bit better. My journal, since it's a meeting. I don't have no, but I'm nervous. I was having a conversation yesterday. He really gave me the book and left immediately. He arranged the meeting this time, though, after I didn't do so, so I take it he wants to meet? I don't know. My meeting notes are old. Greetings.
Good evening. I'll make a safe space. The teleportation circle over there is right down here. Easier than nether travel.
I see. Give me just a moment to adjust my ears.
Sure.
He is very loud to me. Alright. Perhaps he's more confident at using
Same thing
these now.
applies. I still don't know the order for these, but
Oh.
I'm on a lucky streak so far.
As long as I don't get sent into the abyss.
Good luck.
That's not promising.
Hey. We made it in mostly one piece.
Pray tell, what do you mean by mostly?
Your hair looks a little shorter. It's a jest. It's a bit of a walk to get up to the manor, but we've been working hard, so there's at least a nice view.
Mm-hmm. It looks wonderful.
How far along are you all on your kingdom building?
I fear that it has mostly been my hand, so not as far as I wish it to be.
I believe most of this is Rosalind's hands, so...
She's done phenomenal work. She seems very
Indeed.
reliable.
Indeed. One of those that you're simply lucky to be graced with.
Yes, I did the area for the most recent project assignment for the villagers and such and their occupations, which I'm still a bit confused on why they would want to have their workstations in their home, so I'm going to give them 2 separate ones, but for the purpose of the assignment, they're together. Goodness. Oh.
Ah.
Apologies, it seems the sun had me for a moment.
It seems the world had a hiccup.
There's just so much more accomplished.
She has been working hard, and honestly, I believe we might host the Rose Festival here.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
It's a sort of festival to, I suppose, rain in the spring.
Mm-hmm. I will look forward to it.
Look forward to seeing you there. The path is a little lacking up here, but
I don't hold that against it. We don't have paths. I've marked out plots for builds, but not the paths themselves. I was hoping someone else would take the initiative, but I don't think they are. I can't even be angry.
welcome to
I just melt a bit
Name
when I see
Pending
him.
La Casa di Fiorvente.
You should keep it name pinned. What?
Don't mind him.
Okay. This looks very nice.
Yes, I built the frame for it, and then Rosalind took to the inside.
I see.
If you
My
would like to have
inside
a
of
look
my house
around.
is still a shell, unfortunately.
Rosalind does good work. I will recommend her in full.
I don't know how the size of your house, but if your mine is very large. Although yours also seems very large,
I like a high ceiling.
as do I. It makes good for adding perches.
I just like the high ceiling. I don't... I haven't perched much, so maybe it's something I need to consider.
You get to stand above and look down and see everything that goes on, and people
I
can't sneak
do
up
have a
behind
balcony.
you. Balconies are nice. If you've glanced at the Felfolk dormitory, I think there's a balcony on every side of the building, or multiple. But I don't mind looking around. Do you mind guiding me for it?
Yes, I can give you the tour. I was going to set some books down, but over here is the general lounge. So any events here will have this room to chill out and conversate. There's a mini stage here.
It's very nice.
I don't know where Rosalind found these, but I've been calling them bone tables.
Interesting.
I don't get the interior design choice there, but it's one of her only misses. Over here is the kitchen. I'm not much of a chef, so I
I was gonna
can't
say
give much of a guide besides it's a kitchen.
very large
I
kitchen
suppose
for
someone
the
will work in here.
restrictive palate.
Well, I hope to host events here, and it's a very grand place. I wouldn't want it to go to waste. Over here is a, I suppose, VIP room of sorts. So if there's a larger event ongoing, then we have this room for interpersonal. There's washrooms, the main grand dining table.
It's lovely. His
Very
house is
nice
very
chandelier.
nice.
There is guest bedrooms. Just in case you never know.
Someone visits and gets snowed in.
That or sometimes people are just tired, and we know that our kingdom building is quite far out.
Fair enough.
I guess from there it's about the same though. And then upstairs here is my office, study, bedroom, whatever personal floor.
I see. For not being one to perch often, you did give yourself the largest, or the highest floor.
Well, Can't exactly have it in the middle and have everyone just, oh, please pass by my bedroom. The party's upstairs. Over here is the balcony I mentioned. If you squint, you can see the dorms from here.
Yeah, is that my dorm?
I see. I think I see mine. That might actually just be a piece of Everthorne itself. Let me tell you. Bedroom isn't all too decorated yet, but
His bedroom.
the estate did come with a stray cat that apparently wandered in during the final stages of decoration.
I'm sure he saw the opportunity to get into a warm, cozy place that's out of the snow.
Indeed. His name is Two-Tone, for reasons I would hope are obvious.
Yes, nice to meet you, Lord Two-Tone. I will say he has more than two tones.
Well, I was counting the brown and the orange.
I suppose.
I call him Mr. Tones for short, so I suppose it would be Lord Tones.
Mm-hmm. I know Seven has a cat named Tuvali, a play on Loon Tuvali's name. He's also a calico cat.
Can have them meet. Or maybe not.
I would say no.
Well, if they're both calicos.
But yeah, that is I believe calicos typically are female, so you having a lord is quite rare.
There, now you have a chair.
Just steal it from your bedroom.
It's not stealing if it's my own room.
Loaning it from your bedroom.
It's closer. Well then, I have my own meeting notes, but I believe you called for the meeting initially, so I'll let you speak first.
Yes. Most of my stuff is at this point rather old. I had asked for the meeting around the Cinderland New Year, but I had fell ill shortly after. And
I was about to apologize myself, so I stepped away from the academy for a bit.
yeah, I feel as if it may have been I fell ill, and then as I was recovering, you were also gone. So my desire for the meeting was stemmed from discussing what happened between Lady Daphne and Lady Rosalind.
Right.
And ensuring that relations were not tarnished at that. Lady Daphne did get sent home for a week. It wasn't an official school suspension, but between that and I think the pressure of the school, I had sent her home to act as a respite and vacation of sorts for her to get away.
See. Sorry, I'm reviewing my notes.
Mm-hmm. It's to my knowledge that she did already apologize to Lady Rosalind. I'm unsure if there is harsh feelings there. Because it has been a month now, I don't necessarily want to pry into old business if it is settled. So I hadn't brought it up directly to Lady Rosalind when I saw her today.
Right. No, I believe it's sorted. Can discuss with Rosalind and see if there's anything else she would like, but for the most part, at least from my impression, it hasn't come back up, and that usually means a problem is solved.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else on mind?
No, it was really just that for it. I wanted to ensure that that incident didn't cause issues between the courts.
No, I believe it was interpersonal. And it also seemed somewhat accidental.
Yes,
there was concerns about intention, but I believe they shook out.
Yes, it was not purposeful. It's the danger of the duels. Of stuff happens. I, for one, don't trust totems I use them, but I don't trust them to ultimately save me, so I avoid dueling. And she had genuine remorse regarding it. And frankly, as someone who has known Lady Daphne for so long, she is not lacking intelligence to the point of attempting to take someone's life in a school classroom in front of an audience.
Mm-hmm.
But I know others did try to find fault with her, and I know that set off a series of events of the pressure, which is part of the reason why I sent her home.
Seems pressure is getting to a lot of people here.
I guess another thing that is also a bit old at this point, I think your Viscountess needs an education on regards to other court cultures, and perhaps not approaching, or she approached to apologize, so she did apologize already for it, but apparently she had the brilliant idea of a maid cat cafe, and she was...
Her name starting with a V, correct? Well, okay, that doesn't narrow it down. V-I.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone else had already, I believe she mentioned it to someone else, and they had corrected her swiftly, and yet it was deemed appropriate for her to, I guess, come and apologize to me herself regarding it, which I would never have had this information had she not apologized to me. So there's that, but it's also regarding the fact that this isn't the first time disrespecting folk culture, and I worry...
Unfortunately aware. Yeah,
I worry regarding it on what she thinks of my court, and if she... with how many slights she does, I question if it's ignorance or intentionally trying to slight and compare my people to servants.
Well, one of my meeting notes will make you, at minimum, content, hopefully satisfied and on the same page as me about it, but no, we are of the same understanding. As I can start on my notes, the first thing I have is the Rose Festival, as I mentioned, is coming up. I believe it's supposed to rain in spring, so I would imagine closer to the end of the month. Is there anything that we need to have for you and your court?
No, our diets are not limited, so we can eat most things, and unlike Cerulean, we can breathe just fine, and we don't necessarily need shade. We can just use umbrellas should it rains. We are rather neutral when it comes to locations and what's being provided. We do prefer fish dishes, but obviously with Cerulean having more fondness towards them, it's not a necessity.
See. Well, that's the light stuff out of the way. Unfortunately, not much. Well, the first note that I think should bring you at least a bit of relief. Well, former acting Viscountess Feswin is no longer at Everthorne, at least not actively.
That is truly regrettable. I do believe she's someone I could have got along quite well with. She was polite, well-mannered, and respectful.
I have to agree. She had some personal matters come up and had to return to court. And she wants to continue her education abroad, but her focus is health at the moment. But this led to a thought within the court, or at least on my end, of redelegating what she was doing, which realized, honestly, she hadn't been doing all too much. Most of the things that she was doing had fallen onto acting advisor Celica. But with that, we had some redelegations. We now have 2.5 acting knights, Marjorie and Sabrina, and Mateus is an acting de corte, but when needed will step up as an acting knight. And same goes for Marjorie and Sabrina. They will be de corte should it be needed.
I see.
Rosalind is not officially titled yet, but we are aiming to have her as a acting sage. And Violet, the lady in question, is also no longer a acting viscountess. The role is... I don't know how your heirs function back at home, but our heirs, the viscounts, the viscountesses, their job is to sit and study. If something were to happen to me any time before I was able to have a child, then they would step up in my place. But here, what all are you learning that is truly unique to me? And so that, combined with Violet's former conduct, I stripped the role.
A wise decision. I do not think she reflected well upon your court, as
No.
carrying, even it was just an acting title, it did carry a lot of weight at the academy because she was being placed at the same level as the loons that stand beside me that were born into their roles, and I wouldn't ever assume my loons would show blatant disrespect to other courts.
Or your own, would you?
No.
Well, at a meeting with the headmaster today, that was regarding some things about a different student initially, but escalated into a concern around Violet and my court in general that I feel would be, I suppose not crucial or vital, but valuable for you to know. Did you have your court vandalized, or your dorm vandalized anytime recently, within the last few weeks?
I
Crude
don't
drawings
believe
of
so.
small woodland creatures?
No. I have... No, the only vandalization on our dorm was done by one of our own and was an accident, so it just had brought up concerns until they realized that we were concerned over it.
We did have this, that's not even the one I'm talking about, but that's apparently been a frequent issue. And then...
That reminds me of the portraits within the academy of the professors.
True indeed. No, when I returned to Everthorne, there was a small crude raccoon drawn on the inside of my door. I initially suspected Cinder because the raccoon incident there, but I was told by the headmaster that this apparently extended inside of the demon dorms. Just a blatant trespass into their dorm territory. And reportedly, Vicky, a vampire student, I don't know if you're familiar.
I don't believe I've met her.
I wouldn't expect you to have. Reportedly, Vicky went to, or was called upon by the headmaster for this, met quite early in the morning before anyone would be awake, and confessed to this crime of vandalizing and trespassing. I don't believe any other vampires were questioned on this. I don't know why Vicky was, but Vicky detailed a visceral hatred for myself, for Bloodwyn, and this entire school as is. So much so that she was immediately expelled. The question might be, wow, well, Phelan, Mr. Headmaster, expulsion seems extreme. And the headmaster would, of course, double down a few times before saying, no, it was a suspension. Did I say expulsion? Sorry. So, Vicky is suspended for having done this breaking and entering, but also a forgery has been floating around. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, it's a forgery from the vampire professor that had stepped in.
Correct. It's a pretty, honestly, I want to say innocuous book to try and spread. It's a forgery. The handwriting is different from the original. The original, which I have. The name is spelt wrong in this almost perfect facsimile of it. But besides that, it's, for anyone that's never seen it, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's a forgery. However, the original only ever exchanged hands between 3 people. That being me, since I have it currently. Helios, so he could write it. And then Violet, who gave it to me. Violet, who is apparently detailed to the headmaster that she is trying to lose our court points and hates our court and despises me.
She's an immature little girl.
Indeed. And so my concern falls upon, I don't know why she's still here if she's actively working against our court, and the entire purpose is that we are working together to earn points. But additionally, if her current MO, which it would seem that she's the one to spread the forgery around the same time as the vandalism,
It wouldn't be the first time she forges
is
documents.
she hates the court, or she hates me, hates the court, and hates Everthorne entirely.
Then why is she here? She can leave. She's not obligated to be here.
She's asked to leave Court Bloodwin.
She can leave the academy.
Precisely. But what strikes me is Vicky has not existed. Vicky showed up with Sabrina, let's see, when was it? The 5th of January. And has not shown up once in the 2-3 months since. We checked her mailbox. Inside was a book of Nether rules, a permission slip for Nether Kingdom building, so that we could cross to and from in the Nether, since it's a long distance, an invite to the Lunar New Year, an invite to your Valentines festival, and a copy of Horse Overview Volume 1. All of these came from January to February, to my understanding. The entire range that she has been at the academy. Her dorm room is empty. Completely empty. There's not a thing in the drawers. She's not expelled. She is suspended. I wouldn't imagine you take absolutely everything and uproot and move back in 2 weeks' time. And I don't know. In comparison on someone vandalized the demon dorms, that is being described as it's an act that happened because the criminal hated me, hated Bloodwin, hated Everthorne. And it's in the same time frame as something that seemingly only Violet could do. That pretty clearly points to Violet, but instead the headmaster is pointing it at Vicky, who seemingly might have went home the same exact day they arrived.
Interesting.
So
he's trying to cover for her, because this isn't the first instance of Lady Violet forging other people's signatures.
Great. I was also then told that we are required to have heirs. It is a direct qualification matter. If you do not have heirs, you cannot be in the running.
But your heirs aren't with you. He didn't, to my knowledge,
Correct.
I assume didn't invite them. Heirs are
Well-
two. We're supposed to have 2 heir majors.
I believe so.
I have 1. And he has not brought this up to me. Loon 7 is a knight major.
Okay. The way that the process was described to me is supposedly that the headmaster wrote to my father, and my father sent back a list of people. I prompted, okay, was this request for a list of people? Did you detail that it needed to have the heirs? Did you detail that I needed to be sent with heirs? No. So my father sent a list back of the people to send to Everthorne as me and reportedly just a whole dump of people.
That is
And Phelan from there did background checks and verifications and only knew that I was the prince and knew no one else's role. And that's why I don't have heirs.
that's questionable because Prince Phelan hand invited my court. And he had sent my father the list of who was invited. My father did alterations with permission and swapped some people out to keep our court more functional, but ultimately my court, aside from a select few, were handpicked by Phelan.
Well, I believe that Phelan picked from the list, but did supposedly checks on each person. I ask, okay, if you did checks on each person, you know that I wasn't coming with an heir.
And
Are
it's
you
not like
unfamiliar
your
with
heirs
what
are secretive.
court
Everyone
structure?
should know
No.
your viscounts. He should know your
I assume that-
viscounts.
My viscounts are in charge at home at the moment, at least of my duties. That's why I assume why they weren't put on the list, because my father needed someone to be in my place. Now, should the headmaster have detailed supposedly that you will need to have heirs if you want to be in this competition, then I'm sure we would have sent them and figured something out. But no, instead, it's only coming up now, 5 months later.
I can see how problematic that is for your court. I don't know how well served he will take a petition of sorts, but at the end of the day, I have 1 heir, technically, at the academy. I have both my loans, but they are heirs to Solmera. They are not here as heir majors. 7 is not interested in the sole position. And it's astounding, because if that is going to be a requirement, then why on earth would they have accepted 7 as a knight major?
But
Why
also,
would that not have been brought to my attention?
if he knew that I wasn't coming here with heirs, and wouldn't even have the ability to assume, because if a whole swath of people came in, if he had 50 people to choose from and only selected, he had no way of assuming that I would come with heirs. And it was not it was something that I decided to put acting viscountesses in place. It came up in royal code, and I trusted Veswin enough that I decided to make those roles acting within the scope of Everthorne, and Violet got tacked on as a result of that. But that wasn't something the headmaster was involved in. The soonest that he would have been able to, I guess, figure is maybe at the solstice, when I maybe presented, or no, because I don't know. He says that it was locked in with the selection of the majors. But-
Selection of majors does not dictate the rules of your court. Just because I
Yeah,
have
that's not an
people
acting
here,
role.
yes, that's people studying to be something, not to be ultimately in service of me.
Every acting role that I've decided upon so far has been of my own volition. they didn't say anything or communicate anything to me saying that yes, they will be acting within these rules. I've decided that exclusively myself. I've been meeting with people throughout the last few weeks about it.
Yeah, the majors, not heir majors. The majors themselves are for the crown. It's for whoever wins the crown
Yes.
ultimately. And that's where I had thrown up the fit regarding the fact my court was being excluded from the Wither fight because I was refusing to fight. On the fact that these are Solmera Felfolk who are training to be knights for the next crown. They are not training to be my knights, they are training to be the knights of the next crown, and by making them unable to participate because of my lack of participation is hurting the kingdom as a whole. They are not majoring to serve me. Some of them certainly are. I'm sure if I don't get the crown, they're going to follow me back to Solmera and serve me there. But for others, I understand they want to climb higher.
Exactly. I was given the exception because I understand that I may have made a mistake in the situation. My Viscounts at home will be, I believe, sent the material, or they need to work for the credit so that they can be technically my heir majors. They're my technical Viscounts for the sake of competition. But also at the cost of Violet and Veswin losing the major. Violet I am fine with. Veswin, less so. I believe that Veswin's been was putting in diligent work, and to punish her when she's not even here seems cruel. Even if my court isn't to win, I would still like her to be in the running for another. I think it's unfair to potentially destabilize my court because I'm going to be down I could be down two Viscounts at home. Say another court wins and likes the cut of, Augusto and Delfino. They can just claim them?
I'm
and
confused by
destabilize our court.
the headmaster's thought process on this. I don't know why he's assuming that our court doesn't automatically go to the crown, no matter who wins. It's the people who want the majors. We were never being told that there's a limit to 2 heir majors. For all that could have happened, I could have had 4 people of my court want to be heir majors. Would I have had none of them? No. For Solmera, we do value the bloodline trait of the twin tails, so I would never have approved of them if they did not have the trait to seek to be on even footing with my loons. But with school regulations, with what we have been told at the assemblies, technically it would have been permitted. So I don't know why he seems to be changing things unless it's purely favoritism towards Lady Violet, if he is trying to cover for her, trying to guilt trip you into letting
almost outright
her...
asked him to stop moving the goalposts.
It seems he's trying to guilt trip you into keeping her as a Viscountess.
Which, why, when he has been given the direct confession from her that she is actively trying to lose us points? It brings to concern for me, perhaps why Bloodwind's been in last, or trailing the bottom the whole time. If numbers have been fudged, it would be that easy for him to have done so. We've had a court member going against us since November. Not all too difficult.
Frankly, this situation regarding forcing us to have heirs and such, it honestly could be something that's brought to all the head heirs, and we corner the headmaster on it. Because if neither of us were aware of this, I can't imagine the other two were either. Cerulean had the benefit of, similar to Solmera, they have siblings. Their Crown Duchess has siblings, and those were her duchesses, her heirs here. But Cinderloon, it is to my understanding that it's the High Chancellor, and then the Chancellor, and then presumably Lord Dante, given he was at the Solstice event. But after the book from Mistress A. Fable, perhaps he isn't. So they might be someone worthwhile to gain the support of on not being forced heirs upon us.
Of
And
Singular.
and quite frankly, any head heir is simply, I would question if why would they would even want Violet as an heir. I don't think any of us should want Violet as an heir.
That's the exact point. I went through the... I brought up the incident between Violet and Lizzaylia, and the headmaster shrugged it off. Violet outright came to me, said, "Hey, I wronged this member of another court, and now I want to duel them. Can I have your permission to do so?" And then when I said no, she went, "I understand." I said, "Do you agree?" She goes, "I understand." And when I brought it up in future occasions, she would just, "Okay, fine, I just won't tell you things then." I do not get how that just gets shrugged off. That is directly bullying another court. I mean, he approached it from the standpoint that they are friends, but also it is still intolerable behavior.
Yes, I will say rallying the other head heirs regarding it may put the prince on the defensive and not appreciate it,
Me?
most certainly. The headmaster's a prince, Prince Ezra.
Fair enough.
He only became a headmaster 5 months ago. I have been referring to him as Prince.
I'm used to being referred to as Prince. Apologies.
I try to correct myself when I'm speaking in front of you, but I was raised to refer to him as Prince Phelan.
That's my final bullet point. I understand that we have our own relations and agreements at home. I would like to draft something here that we can share among our student bodies and have on paper to show to the headmaster, so I don't have to... When I was trying to build the case of Violet and Lizzaylia, I had to fudge my way through that. Oh, Solmera is a non-problematic court, and we were trying to retain that for Violet to then strike, rather than just our courts and you and I as individuals have history that garners a mutual respect. I think having something on paper would be good. A alliance, a treaty. I understand that the demons and sea monsters have one like it, but...
I wasn't aware of that. I was going to say that outwardly having an alliance of that sort would have... If any of our parents had done that, that would have immediately caused great tensions if it was publicly known. That is betraying the trust of the Concord. But it's interesting knowledge. I would be wary on if you're wanting this specifically to show to the headmaster, because like I said, that could easily be used against us, and if the other two courts do have it, that is going to very immediately cause a divide. It is going to be one side versus the other.
My thought, I don't think that it will be an even match for long. I would assume that you and I are able to come to an alliance here within the scope of Everthorne, something that we can relay upon our students, our court members, and fall back upon. From there, Sindraloon seems to deal with things interestingly. From what I've dealt with them, they don't take accountability. They have whatever strange structure, and they've struck me as pompous and a number of other reasons. Of all the courts to take the throne, I do not want it to be them.
Nor do I.
However,
that's my least favored candidate, and quite frankly, nothing against the High Chancellor himself, more so I know that due to royal code, their governing style is vastly different.
yes.
And I don't want them to impose that on my court. I want to protect my court's way of life.
My thought is I believe I'm on neutral or positive enough terms with the sea monsters. I've been conversating with Mirelle, and I believe that relations there are fine or good, are manageable. Should we have a paper alliance that we can fall back upon between Bloodwyn and Solmera, I believe that I could prompt this upon Mirelle. If I can further develop that relationship, that friendship, whatever it would be, then I can bring it to her within a meeting, have her sever the Singerloon alliance and join into ours. It would be a matter of chance. I believe it's a sort of treaty to, if one court is to win, then safety is guaranteed. So with our paper alliance, if your court was to win, it would be guaranteeing that Bloodwyn is taken care of. That we're still safe, that our way of life hasn't changed. To my understanding, I would assume that's what the Singerloon and Cerulean alliance is. If Singerloon is to win, then they're not going to impose their way of law or their way of rule or way of living onto Cerulean. So it boils down to a numbers game. You can either have a chance to rely on Singerloon winning and hope, and then not have a guarantee with the other two, or join with the other two, have a chance with all of them, and of course your own court. And it's a numbers game. Is it 25% versus 75%? You would join the 75.
There's a flaw to that. Singerloon has been in the lead for months now, and it's not a small lead. Currently, my court is 40 points behind Cerulean, who's in second, and yours is even farther behind me. If the Crown Duchess has a deal with Singerloon to be mutually beneficial for their two courts, she wouldn't sever that, because then she is throwing away her safety, because then she is aligning with the two on the bottom. And should we do this, and should it be approached to her with it, and she doesn't join us, or even if she does, either way, it is going to show Singerloon that they are more outcasted, more alienated, and open the gateway to if they're going to play more dirty. They already seem to have been playing dirty with delaying their point reports, but should they turn more physical, there's already been curse attempts, there been the pranks and such. Mistress A. Fablebook mentioned a attack. It is going to step up the competition in a more brutal way. And that is something I already expected coming into the academy, for one. But if you are giving them the fuel to do so, that does put you directly at risk. Puts both our courts directly at risk.
Indeed.
Their alliance between the two is not something that has reached my ears until now. So, presumably, it has been, for the most part, well kept. Because I'm sure they know the same thing. I'm sure they consider these same points on regards that it will cause a divide and will ramp up competition in a more negative, brutal way. And at the end of the day, if competition turns brutal, then whoever wins the crown is going to have hurt feelings. I am open for still signing a contract. I would just be more wary on how it gets approached to the Crown Duchess, because...
Of course, it's still very tentative. I can't say I'm all too sure what angle to take with the Crown Duchess yet, but it's an opportunity for now.
I do desire to get closer with her. This is private information, but from my sources, it regards to the fact that their court, I don't know how private it is at this point, but their court is having issues, perhaps, and they might have a fracture of some sort. So I seek to befriend her closer, just to, if she does ascend her position early of some sort, I can ensure that there is agreeable terms.
Very well. It's something we'll have to play by ear, I suppose. But either I can start drafting a official treaty or something formal, or if you would like to.
If you want to draft it, I'm sure I may have critiques for it, but if you want this treaty, I want it to cover what you're looking for out of it. And since I don't know what you're looking for entirely, I won't be able to adequately make one.
Very well. I will get to work on that, and I'll arrange another meeting for us.
Do we want to consider the meeting between head heirs regarding this seemingly new requirement that we have to have 2 heir majors serving beneath us?
Potentially. I'm curious to talk with Mirelle on it. I wonder... Because I can't say I'm familiar with how Cinderloon stands on it, and I don't want to give them ground to stand against us. So I understand that things are currently a bit tense between our courts already. I don't want to give them a reason or any sort of fuel if I'm not sure that if they oppose, they would be alone. I don't want to arrange a meeting between all the head heirs and then I bring it up and we're, I suppose, directly opposed 2 versus 2. If I at least know that the Crown Duchess is agreeable on it, then Cinderloon would be standing alone on the matter, and we at least have that.
I see. As long as it doesn't get to her that you've already confirmed my opinion, and you're confirming her opinion.
Of course.
And then you're informing the High Chancellor, because that then is your badgering.
It will be kept private, 1-to-1.
This is questionable.
But yes, I will look into what we can do. Also, the last thing, to loop back around to Violet, I have written confirmation from the headmaster that the next time that any other incidents after today come up that cause disruption to the court will result in suspension. Although, her Senate was expulsion, so that's wonderful. Perhaps not.
Interesting.
Been a long day. But I believe that's all I have to discuss, unless you have anything.
Do I apologize for Valentine's Day? No, that would be everything then.
Very well. I will take you back to the teleportation circle.
He still wants the contract. He wants a treaty, so he's not against Solmera, so Valentine's censoration did not make him go against us. And so since I have that confirmation, there's no need to plead and beg for everything to be alright. Their paths are so nice. I'm jealous. I haven't seen Lady Marjorie, but she has my condolences for Lord Baklava.
Ah, yes. I will pass them along for you. sure everything's inside. I'm scared to use you. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
we made it.
in one piece.
Well,
My hair is not getting shorter.
oh no, not the hair. Would you like me to walk you to your dorm?
If you don't mind walking me up the path so I'm not
Sure.
seen walking from your dorms by myself. I think others are more comfortable just relaxing on dorm paths, but I am not.
I agree.
But yes, farewell.
Alright, well, farewell.
Hello.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Hi,
Hello.
Phoebe.
Oh, hello. She got a lot of pets from me yesterday. Oh,
I tried giving her fish, but yeah, she's just playing with it.
oh. She might not be hungry.
No. Oh wait, hold on. No, sorry. There we go. It was bothering me. Anyways, I need to go speak with Castiel. I'll see you both later.
See you
Take
later.
care.
I have a question for you if you have a couple minutes.
I do, in fact.
I
My schedule just cleared up.
already have permission for the Botany Club and such, but if I were to tell you the courtyard to the right of the changing room, do you know where that is? Does that seem like something people would know?
In the most blunt honesty, I have no idea where anything is in this school.
How have you been here for 5 months, Professor?
I am ashamed. Deeply. It's simply I can no longer hide how bad I am at navigation. Every time I leave my room, I go the opposite direction of the exit.
Oh no.
It's
'Cause
bad.
I was kind of wandering because I want to ask people before I put up a sign and then proceed to have no one know where I am referring to.
It might be wise to, in the sign, just include a picture, a top-down view of the school with the area marked.
Perhaps. I think it wouldn't really show up though. I can show you where it is. It's a very small courtyard is the issue. I'm not sure how many people actually use it. I did discover Lady Celica does because I was in there sitting and she walked in and silently stared at me before she left. I was like, oh, I think I took where she planned to sit. Yeah, I was just trying to think of pretty floral areas within the academy that aren't too in the way.
Well, there is that entire gardening nook as well.
Mm-hmm. There's also a whole, there's a outdoor courtyard hallway that looks nice, but I was
Oh.
thinking here,
Oh. Oh my
because-
goodness. Oh, this is gorgeous.
and I got permission that I could plant some cherry blossom trees so there would be shade for if it rains or from the sun.
I don't believe I would entirely know where this is, but I think if anything, the training ground might be a better point of reference than the changing rooms.
Yes, I just didn't want people to think that the training ground is what I'm referring to. Because I feel like if I say courtyard, I guess I
Leave an
could.
arrow. Leave an arrow by the training ground, pointing to the club.
True. I will do that then. Because I'm planning to also just have a sign on the wall. That
I
way
think it will help.
they can pass it. I know I haven't used the training rooms much, but I know others have, especially for classes. So I'm just not certain how many people use it, or if it's just a lot of my court that changes right before class starts.
I see. I would recommend the training ground as a point of reference and leaving some arrows.
I can do that then. Thank you for your feedback on that. It seems there's no one on campus today. I knew there's Adventure Club, so I wasn't expecting anyone. But then
Well,
post
they're back
it.
now.
Yes, they're nowhere. I haven't seen anyone.
Truly, I was searching for people. The school's abandoned.
I ran into Lady Celica multiple times, actually. But besides that, I really have only seen you and Lady Lizzaylia. Suppose I saw the High Chancellor at the willow tree, but it's empty now, or at least it was. And that's never empty. There's always someone wandering about there.
So, Katarina,
Mm-hmm.
I actually was hoping to speak to you.
Certainly.
Want to give you my thanks. Be it by good prediction or unfortunate coincidence. I believe the decision to move some of my businesses to your court has helped avoid a tragedy.
Well, it was your own insight that led to that decision, so I believe that is more
Whether-
of applauding to you.
Whether my insight was correct or not is yet to be seen, as the investigation is ongoing. However, the perpetrator is unknown. However, my estate back at the Imperial Sea was attacked. And thanks to our dealings, many of my family were saved.
I see. I'm glad that they could find safety within Solmera. I value you greatly, so I'm glad that we could be of help.
And I greatly value the sponsorship and the aid that you've provided and the aid that I'm able to provide. It's something I appreciate greatly and hope we get to continue. Especially now as it seems a far more extensive future unfolds before us.
Well, let's hope for a brighter and more or less turbulent future then.
I still believe that what happened was only a symptom of unrest, if I'm to be fair. Obviously, an important public figure is an obvious target, but they're never the true target.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see what unfolds in the coming weeks.
Of course. I hope for the best for it then.
I simply did have to thank you. I believed it would be improper not to.
Well, you're welcome then.
But yes, apologies, the gardening club. I simply had to get it off my chest. I'm quite looking forward to this. Do you have a sponsor teacher selected yet?
Yes, I had asked Professor Saren back at the Valentine's Day Festival, actually, because since it's botany, so while my main interest is the language of flowers, I'm also going to dive more into like the usage of it, and I know a lot of plant usage is medicinal, so I thought she would be very appropriate for it.
I'm inclined to agree, actually. I say that as if it's any surprise. She's quite the genius with such things.
Yes, if it was purely about the flower language and what flowers to use in what social context, you would have been my choice for it.
Yes, but a garden is so much more than that. If we want to ask for any flower language, which I know that you yourself needn't, well, that can be asked for any form of decoration.
Yes, I am looking forward to it. I need to decide a date for the first meeting and time, but once I have that, I'll have a post made on the student message board, and I'll have in here set up a bit more. I'll probably move the campfire seating more to the side and then make something that can suit more people right here.
Ooh.
But I feel like I might have more than 6 people.
I hope so.
I do
Perhaps you
as
could
well.
even expand to more gardens once you're done with this one, though that's for the headmaster to decide, of course.
True. Well, there's also this section that is not used for anything.
True.
So, I think at most it's used for a shortcut.
I do apologize for my tiredness.
No, you are quite fine.
Well, I look forward to seeing it. I would love to be invited at some point, be it for a picnic or a tea party, or I would love to perhaps host one here once the gardens are tended to.
Most definitely. While this would be the spot in the academy that I would use for the club itself, it is also my way of having social gatherings of nobles, so I plan to have tea quite often under the club. It's a botany club because I figured, education is important at an academy, but my interest does lie in the flowers and tea.
All right. I must meet with my brother for a moment.
Okay.
But thank you so much for your company, and thank you so much for showing me this.
Of course. Farewell then.
Farewell, and do enjoy the rest of your day.
You as well. Let me find someone else to ask if they are familiar with the location then.